Live, whenever you're ready. All right, so we're testing levels.
Yeah.
All right.
Test.
I was going to sing the concerto.
Please don't.
That's wrong. You never give me my time to shine. It's rude. So we are live in the studio. Today is the first day of the Luxury Mayhem podcast. So welcome to the Luxury Mayhem podcast. We are here to showcase the newest and greatest fighters coming out of San Diego and give them a chance to shine, give them a platform to be able to let the world know who they are and shine a little light on their careers and who they are as people, because some of these people are really great people, like this man I have sitting in front of me right now, the world-renowned Jonathan Wilson. How are you doing today, John?
I'm good. I'm doing good, man. Thank you for having me. This is really cool, man.
Well, thank you for coming out and being our test dummy on this first one. You know, we're going to get things running here, and hopefully it'll be a better test than we imagined. So I appreciate you taking the time and your lady coming out and taking the time to spend some time with us today.
Absolutely, yeah.
So let's jump into things. Is everything's good? Okay, I just want to make sure all our equipment is good.
As long as you're not touching the microphone. Yes.
Okay, see, I'm new to this. I'm touching the microphone. I'm already getting cussed out by my man. So this is how it works. Okay, so Jonathan Wilson, he is now 3-0, just fought at Epic 50. Yep. Tell the people, a little bit about yourself. Where did you grow up?
So I grew up in Northern California.
What part?
Kind of by Clear Lake, California, up in the middle of nowhere, a little farm town, up in the mountains. Yeah, grew up out there. When I was 18, moved out to Sacramento, and I was training my whole life, but I started training in Sacramento once I moved out there as well. Then came down here last year.
Okay, so growing up, normal family life, anything super crazy there?
So I talked about it on one of the Epic interviews. I had everything was pretty normal. I just grew up training, but our whole town caught on fire once, so that was kind of crazy.
Is that like the California wildfires that happen every year?
Yeah, it was like one of the first big ones out there. That was pretty crazy. That was when I was in high school, my senior year.
Burn your house down?
So we had a property and a house. We were moving our stuff from property to the house. It burned the property, but the house we were moving to made it. The house across the street didn't make it, but our house made it. It was really weird.
That's crazy. Did you guys let your neighbors stay with you after that?
We had 13 people living on our house at one point. Some crazy number like that. I don't remember exactly.
So big family? Come from a big family, a lot of brothers and sisters, or?
I have one sister, but it was just people who needed a place to stay after their places burned down. So we was I was sharing my room. We had people in the garage, people all over the place, man.
So, anybody in the background, in your family background that actually fights?
No.
No? You were the first one?
Yeah.
So you said you've been training your whole life. What did you start? What discipline did you start with?
So I started in judo when I was 5. I kind of went in. I was really small. I didn't hit 5 feet tall or 100 pounds until high school.
Okay.
I was little my whole life. So when I was little, my parents told me, or they wanted me to get into martial arts. And so it was Halloween when I was 5 years old. I got put in judo. I saw some people jumping over some stuff, grabbing some candy, and I was like, that's what I want to do.
So your parents just said, hey, we're going to, out of nowhere, we're just going to throw you in judo? That was the...
Yeah, I just...
did they have friends or somebody? Maybe some... No? Just
nothing.
They just picked judo?
There was nothing else in our little town. It was that or karate, and I just picked judo. I fell in love with it.
Wow. Okay. So you did judo for how long? What level did you reach in judo?
8 years. They were trying to fly me through the belts to be one of the younger black belts that the instructor had ever given out. The instructor's name was Fletcher Thornton. He had done referee for the for the Olympics. I had competed in the Junior Olympics a couple times. I placed pretty well in those. Just missed the podium both times. So
you competed twice Junior Olympics? Okay.
Yeah. He was the coach for one of the Olympic teams. He was a referee at the Olympics. He was been around for a long time, and he just happened to be the coach in my little itty bitty town. So
cool. It's Fletcher Thornton. Shout out going to Fletcher Thornton.
Yes,
we appreciate you. You
started all this.
Yeah, you started this beast on his path, and we appreciate that. Okay, so jumped into judo, just kind of out of the blue. Trained for 8 years. Which discipline did you hit next?
Wrestling.
Wrestling.
I went to wrestling. Yeah.
Okay, so did you in high school? Did you play any sports in high school?
Yeah, I was I did wrestling, soccer, and I did baseball a couple years. I tried tennis out for a year.
Wow.
I've I've been.
I can't see that. I don't see the Andre Agassi in you.
Yeah, it was fun. I'll say it was fun. It was not something that I was like I love to do it, but it was.
Tennis is a very competitive sport.
It was
People
fun.
don't realize.
It was fun, but then I was like, okay, I'm ready to go back to baseball. I played baseball for like 12 years.
Okay.
So I like needed a break from baseball. Said all my friends were like, I had some friends that were playing tennis. I was like, let's try tennis. And then after that, I was like, yeah, no, I'm going back to baseball.
Okay, so just super athletic, pretty out of the gate. So
yeah, I was doing sports like my whole life.
Okay.
Yeah.
But fighting has always been in the background.
That's been like that. Yeah.
Okay, that was your foundation. Okay,
Yeah.
Cool. So did the baseball go anywhere?
No, I was actually really good at soccer, but I was not so much baseball.
We could tell by the leg kicks.
There you go. See, soccer was more my sport than baseball. I played soccer for like 13 years.
Wow. Okay.
While I was doing martial arts the whole time as well, but it was like it was judo, wrestling. And then I went to some jiu-jitsu and stuff like that after. I've been grappling since I was a little kid, but the whole time I was doing other sports as well.
And see, soccer, I feel like soccer is a real man's sport. I feel like people don't really understand how strenuous soccer can be on the body. There's no breaks, there's no huddles. You're running the full length of the field 3 to 4 times in less than like 2 minutes if necessary.
Crazy.
And then being limited to only using your feet and no other part of your body except your head, I guess. So, yeah, I give you props on that one, too. Okay, so that's good. All right, so the childhood was cool. You got your introduction in jiu-jitsu and judo, moved to wrestled in high school, so that kind of got you. Did that just accelerate your MMA game? When did you actually start getting into, like, MMA? When did you say, you know what, I think I want to take this from, like, traditional sports to like full contact?
So I was real little. I was like probably 7 or 8. I was watching Chuck Liddell beat up Tito Ortiz.
Wow, you were 8 when you were watching Chuck Liddell?
Yeah.
I feel old as hell.
Yeah, I was.
All right.
So I was real little watching it with my dad, and I remember telling him like, "This is what I want to do," when I get older. And my dad was all for it. My mom was like, "No, you're not."
Of course.
Parents,
moms are never worth it.
And then a little bit later, my mom was like, "Okay," everyone started to support it, and it was just that was kind of where it started. And I was watching UFC, I was watching MMA just my whole life, and that was kind of where it started. And I knew, even from then, I was like, this is where I'm going to go with it. This is what I'm going to do. Even in wrestling, I told everybody, I was like, this is what I'm doing.
Well, there was really no pathway for wrestling up until, as UFC got popular, it became a pathway for fighters, but wrestlers were just kind of went to the Olympics and then, they're gone.
Yeah, that's it, yeah.
But you had already been to the Junior Olympics, so you had kind of already achieved that.
Yeah. Yeah, so I was just like, I want to fight. That's what I wanted to do. I told everyone knew it. That was my goal from when I've been a little kid.
So how long have you technically been training to fight?
I started competing probably at like 7 years old. Probably like 6 or 7. Wow. I started competing. Probably 7.
And how old are you now?
24.
No, 24. Okay, cool.
I've been competing for a long time. I took some time off. Once COVID hit, I didn't compete for a while. But other than that, I've pretty much always been competing. Whether it was jiu-jitsu, wrestling, judo, did some Muay Thai smokers, stuff, just all sorts of stuff, man.
Any injuries? Anything that's ever stopped you? Or have you just been going nonstop from the beginning?
Pretty much, I've stayed fairly healthy. It's like, stuff happens here and there, and I'll be like, okay, well, I'm gonna take a couple weeks off, and then I'm right back to it. Regardless, yeah. I just kind of learned to deal with said injuries. So
walk me through a typical day in Jonathan Wilson's life.
I kind of wake up. This last fight camp was the first fight camp that I started running. I hate running.
Me too.
I hate running. So this last fight camp was the first one that I started to run. So I would wake up, go for a run, go to practice, and then I would go home and I teach classes in Oceanside. Okay. So I would just go home, teach my classes, and.
So is that all you do for work right now? Is fighting your full-time thing?
Yeah.
Okay. And what are you teaching?
We just actually started an MMA program this week. Okay. But it was boxing and Muay Thai.
Well, congratulations on that. Which gym are you training out of?
So I teach out of Oceanside Athletic Club.
Oceanside Athletic Club. Guys, take note.
Yes, make sure to come through. It's a great gym, man. I love it up there. I've been working there since October of last year, and ever since I started, I've been harassing them about an MMA program, and they finally let me do it. I'm super happy about it.
He's giving back to the next generations, people. That's important.
I'm super excited.
I think that this sport is unique in the way that it's very pure. I have a lot of friends in professional boxing, and the sport, although it's exciting, back in my day, I'm not gonna say how old I am, but back in my day, the Mike Tyson fight was like one of the biggest things that would occur in the sports world. Like, I actually remember where I was the day that Mike Tyson got knocked out by Buster Douglas. I was with my family at a Sizzler, and we didn't have a Sizzler on Rosecrans. Shout out to Sizzler. They got good food, contrary to what people like to say. If you're on a budget, Sizzler is balling. So we were sitting at our table, and we had a white server, and he was a super cool guy. We were getting along with him all night, and he comes running out the back. Quiet room, everybody's just kind of eating, and he just like completely at the top of his lungs yelled, "Mike Tyson just got knocked out." And everybody just stops. The whole room goes silent. We're like, what? There was no phones. There's no internet back then. So we literally tried to rush through our food as fast as we could so we could get into the car and listen to the radio just to confirm what he said, because up to that point we had no idea. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I just remember how exciting boxing was, and it's used to be a very exciting sport, but then it started a lot of politics. A lot of sports nowadays are inundated with politics. Yes. Football, basketball, it's always something. I feel like UFC and the action contact sports are the last true form, besides like skateboarding and like BMX.
Yeah, absolutely.
If you're good, you land your trick, you're gonna get points for it, right?
Yeah.
But with MMA, I feel like there's really no way to cheat. If the fight, the fight is usually called the way that everyone sees it. The fans usually see the same thing that the judges see.
Yeah.
So it's exciting for a fan to, follow a fighter through their career, because if it's a good fighter, the chances are he's going to be very successful.
Yeah, it's a very like pure form of sport, because it's like one-on-one. You can't blame anybody else. It's you in there, and there's nothing else to fall back on, and that's why I love it. It's me versus another man, and we got to go.
That's the basics of combat, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it's back down to our gladiator days. You are a modern day Roman gladiator. Fighting in the Colosseum has now been shrunk down to an octagon.
Yeah,
and there's no weapons.
Yep.
So you are the weapon, which is cool. So you train out of Oceanside. Is that the primary place where you've gotten most of your MMA talent and training from? So
I teach up there, but I train out of Victory in San Diego.
Okay, yeah. Shout out to Victory. That's why he's wearing the shirt.
Yeah, so I teach up there and I train out of Victory. But I've been doing MMA since I was in Sacramento. I've been doing MMA for a long time. I actually trained up at a gym up there called Team Alpha Male. I trained up there for a long time. For about 4 to 5 years, I was out there. I know a lot of real high level fighters out there. So I trained out there for a long time.
So being around all this greatness, these different gyms, obviously Jocko, I know Dominic Cruz trains out of Victory, Orlando, Jimenez, OJ, shout out to those guys.
Yeah, savages.
Real savages. So you've obviously got some pretty good tutelage coming out. What has been your most memorable moment in the sport? Obviously, you at 49, you had a submission. I think like a minute and 49 seconds.
Something like that, yeah.
You smoked this guy at Epic 50, and now you're scheduled to be in a title shot with Red Velvet, correct?
Yes. So there's been a little back and forth. Guys calling my name that just made their debut and whatever, But I'm fighting for the belt. It's sounding like February is what it's going to be like for him. I'm fighting for the title next. That's the plan. That's what's next. I'm not taking a step backwards. I'm going forwards. I got big plans. So
you think that Red Velvet's going to be? I'm not trying to start any fires, but do you think Red Velvet's going to be a problem for you, or do you think you're just going to breeze through that one?
I don't think I'm going to breeze through it. I think he presents some issues with he's very awkward the way he does things, and I think it's going to take me a second to kind of get a beat on him. But once I get a beat on him, I think he's in a lot of trouble.
Now, your fight against Schuster, which was your last opponent, shout out to him.
It's tough, man.
Was a tough fight.
That dude's tough.
You immediately took him down, like in the first round with a stiff right arm. He ran into it and you knocked him down. But he was able to really to hold his own. Shorter opponent, lower center of gravity. I know that poses a problem when you're wrestling and grappling. And he just did not seem to have any quit in him. You were whooping him pretty well, but he was definitely standing up and trading blows with you.
Yeah.
Was that your hardest fight to date?
Oh, has to be. He's just honestly, like, he's so tough. Like, I hit him with some bombs and he just kept coming. That tough kid, man. Tough guy. Really. so much respect to him. That was so fun.
That was the first time we had seen him in an Epic, I believe. That was the first time I had seen him.
He did Epic. I don't remember which one it was, but he won by submission. He won by submission. But yeah, so he was 1-0, but kid's savage, man. You haven't seen the last of him. He'll be back. I guarantee it.
So you're undefeated. You're 3-0. Do you think that puts a target on your back, like at your gym, as well as because you're now you're an amateur fighter. You get to wear the title of being an amateur fighter, and you're 3-0. Does that you feel like people push you in training camp because they just want to see what the hype is all about?
I don't know. Maybe. I don't really pay attention to all that. I kind of know who my good partners are, and I kind of just stick to my main partners. I'm kind of like that. I've always kind of been like that. Like I find my good partners and I stay with my good partners. It just prevents injury and stuff like that,
Yeah.
But I'm definitely like, I'll branch out every once in a while, and every once in a while somebody will want to test it because they'll see me in class and they'll be like, oh, okay. Everyone talks about that guy, and then they'll try to test me, and then they'll find out one way or another.
So I've always wondered when you're coming from a grappling background. You said you have a strong background in wrestling. So when you're coming from a wrestling, how do you make up for the lack of striking? How do you say it? Expertise or knowledge?
So honestly, I credit everything to my coach, Dion Pimento. All the striking that I got was like I had the bits and pieces, but he really helped me put it together. He's the reason that I've been able to catch up. He put a lot of time into me, man. He's really put a lot of time and effort and work into me as a fighter. Everything credit to him. That's all him.
Well, he's done an amazing job. Like I said, you're 3-0, so there's you haven't been fully tested yet. I've seen you in some brawls, but you've always come out the better end of them. So we know you're going for the title. Mm-hmm. Where do you see yourself in 5 years? You've been doing this a lifetime already. Do you want to take this to the final level and compete there? Like,
Absolutely.
That's the goal. Where do you see yourself in 5 years? What would be if you had the perfect career track? What would that be?
Perfect career. I'm in the UFC, fighting the best in the world. That's
you gonna stay just the full 5 fights and then immediately try and go pro, or do you want to kind of work the amateurs for a while?
I'm thinking 5, and it really depends on how they go.
Okay.
If I go and and I beat Gamboa and then I have like a really bad fight, or I just don't perform or something like that, or I don't show up, I gotta get that back. It really just depends on how they go. But if I go 5-0, it's time to go. Let's make some money. Let's make some money.
We're all here to get paid, right?
Yeah, let's make some money.
That is the truth. So you were obviously pretty instrumental in Luxury Mayhem. You were our contest giveaway winner. So if you guys didn't catch Epic 50, he was one of the people that liked one of our giveaway posts, and he was able to win rash guard and a pair of gloves. So we were happy about that.
Yeah, I was too.
And you came out victorious, so it was super good for us. We were happy about that. So I know why. I know how you've got here. Mm-hmm. What's your motivation? I know your lady is always with you. You obviously have a really huge fan base. We've seen them at fights come out, and family is always a huge motivation. But what keeps you going on those days where things are hard, or you're tired or hurting?
I gotta say, like you said, family, her. It's just a lot of things that push me. But at the end of the day, I want to be the best, and I know what I got to do to get there. And I know that I got a lot of people to prove right, and I got a lot more people to prove wrong. So,
right, the haters are always the motivation.
Yeah, so I got to push through for that. But I got to say, number one would be her, and then my family. Number one.
So your mom wasn't into it at the beginning, but how is she now?
She loves it. She gets very nervous, but she loves it. She's very supportive. My family's super supportive. She gets very nervous, but
moms are always nervous.
Yeah.
I played football for a long time, and my mom came to every game. She actually would cheer for the other team when they scored because she didn't understand how the game works. So a couple of the parents had to grab her and tell her to sit down. Miss Swanson, sit down. You're not cheering for the right team. Yeah, your son's on the bench right now, so don't talk about that. But yeah, that's cool. Okay, so that's the 5 years. In the UFC, you've been a big fan. Who's some of your favorite fighters? Who are some of the role models that you
Growing up, my hero was like Anderson Silva. I loved watching Anderson Silva. Anderson, George St. Pierre. Then like nowadays, like I love to watch, before he retired, Khabib. I love to watch Khabib. Now I like to watch Max Holloway. Like I've been watching for a long time, but I have to say like my number one all time is Anderson Silva. That was my favorite. I loved watching him fight.
What do you think about Jake Paul? Just had to sneak that in there.
I think he's better than people give him credit for, but I want him to fight a real boxer and kind of get knocked out. That's what I
Me
want.
too. I think he just needs to be humble.
Yeah.
I think he's got some skills, but I think he needs to be humble.
Yeah.
I was really sad that last fight didn't happen.
Oh, he would have got knocked out by that guy. Yeah.
I'm pretty sure he would have.
Yeah, 100%.
So I was doing some research, and I know that you follow a couple of UFC people, but I found out that you actually met Ronda Rousey.
I did. So that was one of the times I actually I fangirled pretty hard, but my judo coach knew her back in the day.
Okay.
I've met a lot of fighters. I've trained with a lot of fighters. Team Alpha Male, if you know, which you should. There's Uriah Faber's camp out there. There's a lot of fighters that I've trained with. I've met a lot of fighters, man. I've trained with a lot. I've got some pretty high level training. I've got some pretty high level.
Well, it seems like you're getting the right tutelage.
Yeah.
You've been in this career or in this path for a while, and it seems like the universe is bringing you what you need. God is giving you what you need to survive. And we've been lucky enough to have you here at Epic, making amazing fights, and we love to see you and watch you doing your thing. Tell me what life is like when you're prepping for a fight.
I get pretty cranky. I get pretty pissed to that.
The girlfriend is over here giving the acknowledgement nod.
I get pretty cranky, man. I'm a foodie. I'm a big foodie. And when you take away my food, I get really I tell people all the time, this last fight, I was like, every time I didn't get to eat, it was Chester's fault. It was his fault. I didn't get to eat. So I take out everything, man. I'm a foodie.
So when you go into the ring, your opponent is the guy who stole your food?
Yes, 100%.
Oh, wow.
He took food off my table right there.
That is jailhouse mentality right there. You don't touch another man's food.
I get so mad, man.
Yeah, now you guys know what to do. If you want to beat him, come in the ring with some food. You might be able to distract him and get that win on him. He's undefeated right now. Come in the ring with a steak. You might win.
I get pretty cranky, but other than that, I just get kind of tunnel visioned on that fight, especially the closer it gets. The closer it gets, I tunnel vision pretty hard.
Do you find that you're really nervous on fight day, or are you in calm, like the storm, calm before the storm?
It's weird. So, the morning of is weigh-ins, and I struggle through getting the weight down. As everyone does, weigh-ins suck. I get the weight off. I do that. I eat some food, take a nap, and then right when I'm about to head down to the arena, I start to get nervous. Okay. Like when I get to the locker room. But then once I'm back there, it's just kind of okay, let's just go. I'm ready to go. And I'm not really nervous. Last two fights, I wasn't nervous. The first fight I did years ago, I was real nervous for that. I was I thought I was going to throw up. But these last two, I was just I wasn't nervous. I was just excited and happy to be there.
Do you compete in anything else outside of the ring? Do you do jiu-jitsu stuff,
I used to,
tournaments or anything?
I used to. I haven't in a long time. I should get back to competing in jiu-jitsu. I haven't.
It's a very strong attribute now of an MMA fighter. You've got to have your submission game on lock because you will get broken down.
Yeah, I did. I competed in nationals. I competed in nationals 2019 for IBJJF, and then I don't think I've competed since then in jiu-jitsu at least because it was COVID hit right after that, and then I haven't competed in anything else but MMA in a long time. I should. I just haven't.
How did COVID affect your training?
I got pretty fat, man. I got pretty fat. I had to move back from Sacramento back to my parents' house for about 6 months. So training kind of I wouldn't say it came to a standstill, but it was I would train very few and far between. So no, it wasn't good. I'll say that. But then when I was back out, I got back out to Sacramento for about a year, and that's when I started training again. And then I came down here, and it's been good ever since.
So you started in Would you say Clearwater? What's Clear Lake?
Clear Lake.
Clear Lake.
So it was actually Middletown. It was just Clear Lake's like the only.
The closest one that people recognize.
Yeah, and that's like a maybe recognize. You know, so I'm actually from Middletown. Yeah, but
it's
maybe
it's like Tulare.
Yeah,
It's like way up there, in the middle of nowhere.
Kind of by Napa-ish.
Okay.
Napa Valley area.
Napa's, that's
it's
amazing
farther though.
country. Okay.
Napa's farther, but not too
Okay,
much.
so you went from Clear Lake to Sacramento, but I didn't catch what got you to San Diego. What brought you down here? Oh, okay.
So she's in the military.
Wow, thank you for your service. What branch are you in, if you don't mind me asking? Yay, that's my alma mater. I was a rescue swimmer in a past life. So, yeah, I definitely appreciate that. So, did you guys meet up north?
We actually met down here at a music festival.
Wow.
Yeah, we met at a music festival, and then we did long distance for too long, and then I moved down here last summer.
Awesome. Yeah. Awesome. Well, congratulations on that. Love will make you do some things. Like,
I never thought I'd do that.
Move all the way from NorCal all the way down to the tip of the United States. Yeah. That works. So outside of fighting and your love life, what are your other interests and hobbies? What does Jonathan Wilson do when he's not training or prepping for a fight?
I just play video games, man. That's really video games, like, because it's just like my body hurts all the time from training, or like I'm stressing about a fight, or I'm sitting there and I'm hungry. So I'm like, okay, I'm gonna go play video games and forget that I'm hungry for an hour, and then that's really what I do to pass time, man.
And the people are gonna want to know, what game do you play?
I play Warzone a lot. I'm pretty good, man. I'm not gonna lie. Like, I'm pretty good.
I'm a big Call of Duty fan. Shout out to all the Call of Duty players out there. I know that the girlfriends hate us, but it happens. It's our only thing. We get shooting people. Yeah. It makes you feel better, and it lets us vent our anger on other people without, we get to throw grenades at people and stuff, and nobody gets hurt. So we don't have to go to jail. So that's what it's really about. It's just the release and the camaraderie.
Yes.
Right? So, all right. So I think we are pretty much done, man. Let me see. What else do I got for you? I don't know. Is there anybody that you want to give shots out to? Anybody that you want to, call out, that want to take shots at or give shots to?
Gamboa, man. I want that title fight bad. I told him in the cage, he has something I want. It's nothing personal. But that belt, that's mine. He knows it. I know it. If he doesn't want to do November, which is what it's seeming like, I'll wait till February. I got no problem. It's just going to get worse for him, I'm going to get better.
So if he ducks you, are you going to take fights in the meantime?
I don't think he's going to duck me. I think he's going to come through and fight me. He's the champion. You got to defend your belt, Correct. He defended it once in March, but that was March last year, man. It's time to go. You can't sit on the belt forever. Defend or vacate. I'm coming. It's just a matter of time.
Shots fired. Yeah. You guys heard it here. That is going to be an awesome fight. If you guys are not Epic fans or have never been to an Epic event, that might be the one that you show up for, because both of these guys are going to leave it all on the line. And I'm not going to make any predictions. I just want to be there, and I want to watch it happen because it's going to be exciting. Jonathan, you are an exemplary fighter, very humble. We love having you around. That's why we wanted to make sure that you were one of the first people that we got on. So we appreciate you coming out and taking the time out of your busy schedule and training schedule to come do this with us. And hopefully after you guys get that title fight, we'll be able to have you back in.
Absolutely.
And we
can put it right there.
Exactly. We'll put that right here, and we will talk about that fight. And we're going to be working on some other things, bringing you guys some more content and patching in the fight so that you guys can go over your fights with us in studio. We're going to be bringing those things to you guys and coming forward. If you haven't already, please go hit the like button. It's right down there in the corner. And then hit the notification bell so that you get all of the latest content and the latest news, and you can follow all the latest fighters coming out of San Diego and stay with us. And if you haven't, go to luxurymayhem.com, check out the merch. Definitely go to, what is your IG? Give them your IG so they can follow you.
Jonathan Wilson 6 on Instagram. That's where you're going to keep up with me the best. That's just post on there. That'll be best, and I'll put all my announcements on there. And then tell them the name of the gym that you're training out of. I train out of Victory MMA, and I teach up in Oceanside at Oceanside Athletic Club. Come through. We got a great program up there. It's a lot of fun.
And parents, if you guys haven't, if you can see the discipline and the temperament in this young man, this is why a lot of parents opt to put their children into these programs early. Get them dedicated to something, get them focused on something that can really help them become better people, and help them stay physically healthy and disciplined mentally too, so as well. So get your kids out, get them learning from people like this. These are positive role models that they need to be around, and we definitely want to support them. So once again, my brother, thank you for coming out.
Thank you for having me.
We appreciate having you. You guys, this has been the first Luxury Mayhem podcast. Thank you for tuning in, and we will see you guys soon on the next one.